everybody, Aaron Blaze here, and we are back again for our Friday stream. And we got our TikTok friends on today as well. And I am back. I'm going to be doing some more drawing on Snow Bear. And this is my life now. I'm doing this over and over and over again. So I've got a big shot here that I've been trying to get done for about a month. And it's just taking all my time, as is the entire short is going to be taking all my time. But the guys all the folks I've been watching on our website, people that are members, you're able to watch us Tuesdays and Thursdays. We've had some streaming problems, obviously, this week, but you guys have been able to see a lot more of what I've been doing on this, and it's been a lot of fun to share that with you guys. You guys actually have seen this shot kind of evolve from the very beginning, and it's been a lot of fun to show you that. But I'm just going to go ahead and dive in today. I do want to mention, though, that I've got my course is a pre-order, my gesture drawing course. Dustin and I are neck deep in making that as well, and we have it's going to be coming out at the end of the month. But you can go to creatureartteacher.com and pre-order that for only $10. It's really cheap, and we'll have it out in a few weeks for you. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to be human gesture, animal gestures, landscape gestures, just drawing objects, just how to draw them quickly. It's basically how to draw quickly, how to get the essence of something, and push it and pull it and make it more dynamic. So it's a fun course, and I think you guys will enjoy it. What else do we got going on, Dustin? I think that's about it. Is there one other sale? I think we're good.
Yeah, I think that's about it so far.
So that's a big thing. And then I'm going to go ahead and just dive in on here. I'm working in TV Paint software, for those of you that are wondering. And I've got this. Oh, before I dive in, let me just play the shot for you so you can see what it is that I'm drawing. So I've got this. This is called Snow Bear, and it's a polar bear that is wandering the Arctic. He's looking for a friend. And right now we're in the section where he's meeting all these different animals, but he can't make friends with anybody. Ultimately, he makes a snow bear, and they become friends, and that's the gist of the story. But this is the section where he meets a whale, and they almost make contact, but the whale parents say nope. So here's the shot. They swim in, and this is what I've been animating, and beautiful music, and they're twirling around each other, swimming, 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 and they come back around, and he reaches out to make friends with the whale, but then no, the parents say no way, Jose, and then they swim away, and he's left sad. So that's the shot. So I am in this section here. What I'm doing, I'm in the section of in-betweens. I'm in-betweening the shot right now, and what that means is I'm adding the drawings that are going to make it smoother. Adding the drawings that'll make it smoother. And yes, this is digital animation, but it's not computer animation. This is still hand drawn. And so I'm going through now. I've got my onion skin on, which is basically showing the drawing before and the drawing after. And I'm going through and adding the in-between drawing to make the action smoother.
We got a bunch of people from TikTok. We got about 1,000.
Awesome.
Just over 1,000 people.
Welcome, TikTokers.
How long does it take you to make an animation?
Well, this shot here, this is a very complicated shot. This is way more complicated than most other shots that I get. Even in my career when I was at Disney, this is one of the more complex shots I've ever animated. And this is taking me about a month to do. And it's 4 characters, and they're all interacting, and it's full body shots and all kinds of stuff. So
how long is this shot?
This shot is 18 seconds.
So a month
So
18 seconds.
it's taking me a month to animate 18 seconds. But keep in mind, once again, it's multiple characters, and it's full animation.
And you keep most of it on 2s?
Yes, the animation is on 2s, and what that means is each drawing is held for 2 frames. You can still get smooth action by holding a drawing for 2 frames. And so what that means is I'm doing 12 drawings for every second that goes by.
Wow. That's a lot of drawings.
It is a lot of drawings.
Erica
it's
and
worth it.
Erica and a few others on Facebook and YouTube are all asking, are you caught up to where you lost your work yesterday?
Yes, I worked yesterday. Thanks for asking. I had lost like 30 some odd drawings yesterday, a full, basically half a day's work, 6 hours worth of work anyway. And not only did I get caught up, I got beyond where I lost yesterday. So by the time I finished up last night, I had done about 80 drawings for the day, but only about half of those counted.
What animation program is this?
This is TV Paint. This is TV Paint. It's a professional quality animation software. You can do entire feature films on this software. We actually have a 30% discount on it at creatureartteacher.com. If you become a member, you automatically qualify for a discount on the, but see that, you guys, for those of you that were watching yesterday, that's my project saving, auto saving. I didn't have my auto save on yesterday and I lost a bunch of work.
When you install this program, make sure you turn on your auto save.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, so you can, the savings that you get are almost basically the same amount as the membership. So the membership pays for itself in the savings that you get by becoming a member. We have a good relationship with TV Paint.
Do you know what kind of animation software Disney uses?
They don't really do hand-drawn animation anymore. So, and when I was at Disney, it was the software we used was paper.
Well, didn't they say they were kind of bringing back some 2D?
Yeah, but I don't know what they're doing. They'll probably do some kind of proprietary thing of their own, knowing Disney. I could be wrong.
So no one else can use their, yeah.
Yeah. But I can imagine they'll probably use something like this.
Someone was asking me if you could play the animation once you complete this next drawing, maybe?
Sure. Yeah,
Like
after I
if they
finish
missed
this.
it, yeah.
Yeah, when I finish this drawing, I'll play the animation for you.
Have you ever done any 3D animation?
You know what? I never have. I've never done any 3D animation. I started to learn 3D when I was directing a 3D film at Disney. I was directing a film called King of the Elves. It never got made. And I really wanted to understand what it was. You know, I was able to direct everybody because I knew what the capabilities were of CG, but I just didn't know how to do it. And I thought, hey, you know, I'd like to learn how to do this. And so I started to learn it, but my responsibilities got too much and I wasn't able to finish up the training.
Do you know Mark Henn?
I know Mark Henn very well. We worked together very closely on Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, Lion King. Mark Henn and I, you know, when he worked on Belle, I worked on Beast. And then in Aladdin, he worked on Jasmine, and I did Raja. And then the Lion King, I did Nala, and he did Simba. So he and I were always working together.
Would you recommend Krita as an alternative for TV Paint?
I would recommend Krita definitely if you're looking at doing animation as a hobby. If you're looking to do finished films, I don't know that Krita is the right option. I think TV Paint would probably be, it's more robust, it can do more. Now, I haven't used Krita animation, so, but I have used TV Paint for years and years, and I love it. And I know that, you know, Wolf Walkers was done on TV Paint. You know, several feature films have been done on TV Paint.
Is that a touchscreen desktop?
It is.
What made you choose a polar bear?
I was trying to come up with a simple. First of all, I love animals. I love bears. Obviously, I directed Brother Bear, and I was trying to come up with a story that I could animate myself, and so I wanted kind of this lone character in a very kind of stark world environment. And so as the more I thought about it, I kept coming back to a polar bear in the Arctic, and out of that, the story grew. But it really came down to wanting to do something that one person could handle. That was my parameter as far as coming up with a story. So I needed to keep it simple, I needed to keep it very emotionally internal, because it's a character, well, I guess I could have made it a character against the elements, but this is really about a character struggling with loneliness.
What do you like more, a really good rendered drawing or a quick and loose stylized drawing?
I like them both. I can see the merit of both. Obviously, I like something laid down quickly and confidently. There's a lot of energy in that. But something that's, I can appreciate the time taken on something that's rendered as well. So to me, I look at both of those with two different eyes. And I appreciate them for two different reasons.
Did Glenn Keane...
Oh, I got to play the scene back.
And TikTok wants to know what kind of tablet you're working on.
Oh, this is a Wacom Cintiq Pro 32.
Is it hooked up into a Mac?
Yes, it's hooked into a Mac. What were you going to say, Dustin?
Did Glenn Keane do John Silver's arm?
No, that was CG. John Silver's arm was CG. He indicated where it would be in his drawings, but
yeah, he animated John Silver himself.
He animated John Silver, but the arm was CG.
Yeah, the arm was done by a different group.
Yeah. So here's the shot for those that were asking earlier to play it back. So they're moving around, and it's just, the idea is that it's beautiful music, and I wanted to have the kind of this poetic feel. I want it to feel very graceful and fluid under the water there, and there's actually going to be more bubbles that I'm going to add. There's going to be light rays. Actually, I can turn on the background. Let me turn on this background.
Do you ever draw traditional animation on paper still?
Oh yeah, I still do paper animation on paper. As a matter of fact, I just did a class this past weekend, last Saturday, on animating on paper, teaching. It's kind of a lost art, so I was teaching that to the class, and man, we had a really good time. We did that online. So I've still obviously got a lot of drawings to do with the parents when they come in, and with the baby whale when it swims away. But I'm trying to get all the drawings up front here, and then the parents come in, and I've got to add all the in-between drawings in there. But you can see it kind of popping along there. So there it is.
Who animated the orcas in Brother Bear?
Oh, that was my brother, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brother Travis animated the orcas in Brother Bear.
I didn't know that all
Yes.
this time. Or
Yep, when he goes underwater and you see him swimming towards him.
yeah,
Yeah, that
or
was
even
my brother.
the down shot right before that when they're kayaking and they show the orcas next to them.
Yep. What did I just turn
That's
on?
a nice shot.
Looks like I turned off. I wanted to turn this off.
This is the Wacom Cintiq Pro.
Yes, 32.
How is
There we go.
how is Procreate for animation?
Procreate for animation is great, but once again, it's not something that you can make an entire film on. You can do short little bits of animation with it, and it's great. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be at Lightbox in Pasadena in October, and I'm going to be at the Procreate booth, and I'm going to be doing an animation demo on Procreate.
Sarah Phoenix on TikTok says, Brother Bear is so amazing, probably the best Disney movie ever.
Thank you.
Like ever.
Well, that was your baby.
It was my baby.
6 years?
My 6-year project. Yeah, it took 6 years to make that. Making the same thing. You know, I'm working. This one I've been off and on this for like 5 years or 6 years. You know, trying to get this off the ground. But the actual making of this is going to take. It'll take me about 10 months. And we're going to have all hands on deck. I'm actually doing all the animation and all the backgrounds. But we're going to have everybody here to help us do all the character paint and all that. So it's going to be a studio-wide, house-wide project.
Someone on YouTube wrote, is there a more wholesome dude talking about you? I would love to see the darker side of Aaron's work or style, as that's what I prefer.
Oh, I can get dark, maybe.
For those of you that
Where's
don't know,
that skeletal bear, zombie bear from a few years ago?
those of you on TikTok that don't know, Aaron does have Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and he streams every Friday at 1 o'clock, and then sometimes on TikTok as well.
Yes.
So you can find him on Twitch and other platforms under Aaron Blaze Art. Is that right?
Yes.
Facebook is The Art of Aaron Blaze.
The Art of Aaron Blaze on Facebook.
Yeah.
But Twitch is
Aaron Blaze Art.
Yeah. Every other place is Aaron Blaze Art.
Yeah, the unfortunately, I don't have a schedule yet. I haven't put together a schedule for streaming yet on TikTok. We just kind of do it when we can. But we'll be coming up with a schedule for that soon. Right now, I've got a lot of streaming that I'm doing during the week. So we're trying to get schedules pulled together.
Did you mention that if they become a member, they can watch you?
Yeah, actually, if you become a member at creatureartteacher.com, which is my website, not only do you get access to over 500 hours of art and animation training, you can watch us make this film. I'm going to be streaming pretty much, I won't say the entire thing because I want to save some surprises for you guys in the story, but you're going to get to watch me make this. You can tune in every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm cranking away, making animation.
Again, this is on TV Paint. That's the program he's using.
TV Paint animation software.
Hi, Aaron.
Saving. Saving.
Are there plans to do more hand-drawn anime shorts after Snow Bear is done?
Yes. Actually, we're trying to do a shift in our business model to create more content. So we've really focused a lot on training, videos and that sort of thing, which we're going to continue to do. But moving forward, we want to do more training videos based on content, animated content. So, for example, if I want to put out a course on how to do effects animation, then we're going to come up with an animated short that contains a lot where the focus is effects animation. And so that's kind of how we're going to move forward with different subjects, and then we'll create content around that. Because this is, when this short is done, we're creating an entire manual, basically, a whole course on how to create your own animated short. And so not only will you have the short to watch, we're going to have video after video after video on how we made it and how you can do your own.
So this is not affiliated with any animation studio. It's completely independent?
It's my studio.
It's my studio. Mine alone.
Aaron Blaze, Creature Art Teacher.
Yeah.
It's that calm.
Now, keep in mind, I was with Disney for 21 years, so I've made, and I've been a part of 8 different animated features in my history. So, I've done it before. It's just I've never done a project this big of my own. It's not a huge project. It's only 10 minutes, but 10 minutes for one person, fully done, fully finished, that's a good chunk.
Zalji from Facebook
Hey,
asked,
Zalji.
now that you've animated this scene twice, or at least the in-betweens twice, can you talk about any subtle differences you noticed between the first and second runs?
I was really, the only difference was by the time I went back into redraw, I was really warmed up. So I got all the drawings done about a third faster than what I had done the first time. But they were all pretty much right on the same. If you had gotten those drawings back magically and we laid them over the drawings I did, I bet they'd be right dead on line for line. There wasn't really much of a change.
And from Arturo Garcia, how do you keep track of skin patterns on animals in every frame, such as the orcas, and
exactly
have them look consistent?
That's actually a really, really good question, because I think people take that for granted. I think people take animation for granted in general, because now that you can see, it takes a lot of work to go into it. As far as keeping the patterns solid, it's a constant battle. You want to make sure that they don't drift, they sit in one place. So I'm constantly looking at them, the distance between them. How are they sitting? Not only that, if you look, If we look at this, let's do this. Actually, no, let's do this. If you watch that orca swim, he rotates. See the rotation, and so those markings, you got to keep them not just solid, but you got to rotate them around and all kinds of stuff. Oh, I just saw something flash off. A marking on the back. There it is. See that? That marking flashed off.
So you missed a drawing or something?
No, I didn't miss a drawing. I just missed a marking right here.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm constantly, it doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I'll still find something I forgot. And you got to watch for little flashes. So that flashed off. There we go.
So do you know what the course is going to be exactly about? Is it about independent short making or just about making short?
It's the process of making a short. So it's literally starting from the concept. How did we come up with the concept? How do you kind of wrangle your concept, to roughing out the story, storyboarding it, all the pre-production, the character design, all of that, environmental research, environmental design, and then into the production side of it.
So you can take that information and make a film with a shoestring budget or a multi-million-dollar budget.
Exactly.
It's the same principle.
Yeah, it's the same process. The way we're making this is the same way that we made Brother Bear, same way we made all of our other films. This is just on a much smaller scale. My process for making films, or the process we go through, is basically the same every time, because the process works. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. But it really, especially in the beginning, it comes down to a lot of iterations, not falling in love with the initial story idea, letting it boil and percolate. Lots and lots of research, because ideas come out of knowledge, come out of, research and understanding your subject matter or the place. That's why we do our research trips in the beginning of a movie. Let's say, in Lion King, there was a whole crew that went to Africa, because the more you understand an environment, the more it can affect the story. And then that world becomes more real and believable. And that's what we shoot for. We shoot for believability. When this is done, I want you to believe that you just watched a polar bear, in the Arctic. I don't want you thinking, oh, I'm looking at a bunch of drawings. No, I want to suspend that idea and have you get sucked into this world of a polar bear. So this is all based on, from a location standpoint, I'm basing all of this, Nick and I, in our research, started looking at Baffin Island in Canada. It's directly west of Greenland, right off the coast of Canada. It's a big island, but it's big and dramatic. There's lots of really dramatic granite faces and cliffs and rocks and all kinds of stuff. And there's polar bears there. So it gives us a place to do a nice, dramatic, visually dramatic story.
How many frames per second do you think is ideal? 12 or 24?
Well, don't confuse drawings with frames. So I do 24 frames per second, but a lot of my animation is 12 drawings. So I'm still 24 frames going through the camera, through the projector.
You're just holding each drawing for
But
2 seconds.
I'm holding each drawing for 2 frames, exactly. And what that does is it gives me the ability, if I want to speed up the action, I have the ability to add more drawings. And so, doing 24 frames or 24 drawings per second, I could really do some quick action. And actually, I want to jump over really quick and just show you, for the people that don't know, this is Premiere. This is my editing software. And I was talking about doing research and looking at the environment in Baffin Island. And here's an example of, this is the first few shots. And this is all based on Baffin Island. Matter of fact, this shot right here is Baffin Island. It's a valley, a very famous valley on the island. So I've taken those, the research that I did, and I've kind of put it through my creative design filter, and created these backgrounds. But this is all based on a real place.
You drew all these backgrounds by hand?
Yes, these are all these backgrounds I've already done. They're all done by hand. They're done digitally. I painted them in Photoshop, but they're all drawn and painted by hand. But all the these big steep granite cliffs, these are all really strong traits of. And these backgrounds here, they're pushed. They're lightened a little bit so that the line work shows up. When the character's painted, right here you'll see coming up right there. So that's what the background will really look like. But and then so there you can see he's having trouble making friends. He didn't make friends with the fox, and now we see these whales under him in the ice, and so he dives in. He kind of settles in. We're gonna have some bubbles coming up, and the baby whale comes back and swims back to see him. He swims forward, and here's the shot right here that we're animating right now. Now I added this in a few days ago before I had all the drawings in. I wanted to see how it sat with everything.
And for this scene, are you using any reference photos or reference videos?
No, I'm doing all of this out of my head, but I did watch a ton of documentaries on orcas and that sort of thing, just to see how they move through the water. And with that knowledge that I learned, then I went back and worked this out.
Did you animate on Brother Bear?
I did. I did a couple of shots on Brother Bear. When my meetings would slow down and I had a little extra time, I was able to sit down and do some animation.
When you weren't busy directing it.
When I wasn't busy directing it, exactly. So the section where he first wakes up, and in his POV, in his point of view, he sees Tanana, and she goes down to the river and bends down and kind of soaks a rag and wrings it out and walks back over to him. I animated Tanana there, and then I animated some of Keane in that section where where he sees the chipmunks, and he goes, "Wait a minute, you just talked." All that little section through there, I animated that.
Just back away, real slow like.
That was Tim Mertens.
What's your opinion on James Baxter?
I think James Baxter is one of the best animators in the world. Literally, and I'm not just throwing that around lightly. I think he is literally one of the best animators in the world, hand-drawn animators. I've never seen anybody that can animate something and have it feel as naturalistic as James can. His animation has always just blown me away.
If some people on TikTok might not be familiar, go on over to creatureartteacher.com and check out Aaron Blaze and all of his work.
Yeah, so my website is creatureartteacher.com, and I've got over 500 hours of art training over there. Basically, what we've done is when I started this business, I was getting out of the studio world. I just kind of had enough of it. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next in my life, and I realized that I had all this experience, and with the internet and YouTube getting off the ground and all that, I realized that I could share this knowledge and give a lot of young artists a kind of a head start that I didn't have when I started out. And so that's when we started Creature Art Teacher. And that was 11 years ago.
Lisa Jean says, I have the acting for animation course. I love it very much.
Oh, that's great. I loved making that course. That was a lot of fun because it was a chance for me to kind of take a bite into some more complex animated shots and kind of teach you how to get through them.
Do you really teach drawing and animating animals?
I do. I've got a whole series of how to draw animals. How to draw bears, how to draw horses, how to draw big cats, how to draw wolves, foxes, and coyotes.
Do you have animating for beginners?
I do have animating for beginners. I've got a an introductory class that covers the 12 principles of animation.
Do you do like a ball test.
Yep,
and flour sack.
and I teach all the stuff that I learned when I first started.
Martin Berger's asking, how were the tattoos in Moana animated? Traditional on paper or using TV paint?
I think they were animated. I know Eric Goldberg animated them. I don't know if they were animated on digitally or if they were on paper. I'm assuming it was paper, but I don't know. That I just don't know.
How long have you been in the animation world?
I've been in the animation world for 34 years. I started with Disney in 1988, in the summer of 1988, so 34 years this year.
Someone's asking about the faded sketches you're drawing over. Did you draw those as well?
Yes, I did. So the faded sketches are, what you're seeing is the drawing before and the drawing after, and I'm adding the drawing in between. And so that's what you're seeing. Matter of fact, I've got
It's called an onion skin.
yeah, it's called onion skin. It helps me do the in-between drawing. And I need right here, I'm going to shift some of these over.
Well, Lady Calypse says, my daughter says, I love it.
That's great, thank you.
Kids are ready. I think grown-ups and I think anybody could watch this and fall in love with it.
I hope so. Whoops, that's not what I want. I want...
Did you watch the show Arcane? And if you did, what do you think about it, more specifically the animation and the art overall?
Oh, I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, I love the exaggerations of a lot of the animation, especially like the fight
Yeah,
sequences.
the art direction is insane. It's really good. So I'm looking at the spacing on some of this animation right now, trying to get it a little bit more organic. Right now it's feeling a little mechanical. So I'm trying to get things to feel a little more organic.
What are your thoughts on CG, especially if it's mixed with 2D animation?
Sucks.
If it's done well, yeah, it sucks. No, if it's done well, I think, any mixing of mediums and everything I think is really cool. For me, it always comes down to story. If the story is great and pulls me in, then the medium is kind of secondary to that. Now, you can make the medium beautiful and great, and that's what you should do. But don't let you should never let the medium drive the content.
I find some of the issues with 3D for me is that sometimes it feels cold. It doesn't
Yes.
feel as alive or as charming as the hand-drawn.
I agree, but it can be though.
It can be.
So a lot of times it's art direction, and a lot of times it's budget. You don't have the budget to take it to where you need it to be or want it to be. Which is why, that's one of the reasons I love hand-drawn, because, hand-drawn obviously has its own look. I love the imperfection of hand-drawn. When you're going to see the line work that I draw kind of wiggle around and move around because it's drawn by a human. And I like that. There's a charm to that. And, but I also like the ability to think of an idea and then just sit down and start drawing it and have it come to life rather than, having to turn on a computer and start building and, go through all this process.
There's a couple questions on TikTok coming out. Who inspired you or what influenced you to become an animator?
Well, basically it came down to needing a job. I went to school not to become an animator. I went to school, at the time animation was kind of dying out. And this is in the mid-'80s. Matter of fact, Disney was thinking about shutting down their animation division. So when I went to school, I grew up wanting and loving to draw and paint, the natural world, animals and that sort of thing. And I was a huge fan of National Geographic. And so I went to college with the intent of becoming a wildlife artist, and I wanted to work for National Geographic as an illustrator. And when I got into school, I found out that National Geographic only freelance. They didn't have staff illustrators. And I had to freelance my way through school. And I was really wanting to get like a staff position somewhere. I didn't want to freelance anymore. And so, luckily for me, it was all timing. The timing was right. Disney was coming to interview for internships. They wanted to see if they could take artists that were traditionally trained in drawing and painting and teach them how to animate. So I put together a portfolio. I thought it was interesting. I thought I could become maybe a background painter. And I got into the internship, and I was trained by a guy named Glenn Keane. And where is that? This drawing right here doesn't belong. I'm going to get rid of that. I was trained by a guy named Glenn Keane who really, he was my inspiration. I remember sitting with him for like 10 minutes, and within 10 minutes I realized that animation was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, because he had this ability to really not just inspire, but to inspire. He started out like I did. He wanted to be an artist, a painter, and kind of fell into animation and discovered, as I did, that animation really, it contains all of the arts. It contains, obviously visual arts, drawing and painting, but it's acting and music and dance and all this stuff, and it's everything all wrapped into one, and it's just super intoxicating to be able to do that. And so that's where we ended up, and that's ever since then I've been doing it, and I love it. That was a long-winded answer.
I mean, Glenn Keane was a big part.
Yeah. Glenn Keane was my inspiration. For those of you that don't know who Glenn Keane is, he created Ariel for The Little Mermaid. He created The Beast for Beauty and the Beast.
He directed his first Over the Moon, right? Is his first?
Yeah, Over the Moon recently on Netflix. That was his first directorial.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was his directorial debut. He created Tarzan for Disney. He created John Silver for Treasure Planet.
I love the story of how he came up with the Beast and all the different animals
Yeah.
he incorporated.
I remember, he asked me to be part of the Beast crew after he had trained me, and we talked a lot about all the different animals he was looking at for the Beast. Not warthogs, but razorback hogs and buffalo and mandrills and all kinds of different animals that all get kind of wrapped up into there.
Someone said Glenn is going to Fan X in September. I'm not sure what Fan X is.
What is Fan X? I don't know what Fan X is.
What is Fan X? Rennie Nay Side?
Oh, saving. I love seeing that. Auto saving.
If you do the 1 month subscription to your classes, if you download the video, do you get to keep all of them?
Yeah, anything you download, you keep.
But the month to month, I think, is streaming only. Isn't it?
Yeah, the monthly membership is streaming only. You can't download. If you do the yearly membership, which is actually cheaper, by the way, you can download.
Or you can do a la carte, right?
Or you can just do a la carte.
Buy one
Yeah, you can
course
just
at
buy
a time.
each course by itself. Yeah.
How can I start animating if I can't afford college?
There are tons and tons of animation tutorials on YouTube that are for free. I've got a ton of stuff that I've got on my YouTube channel. You can go and on my website I've got tons of training videos that basically will teach you everything that you'll learn in college. I've got the same thing for a fraction of the cost, literally a fraction. I think my animation course is $35 for the entire course.
Dylan Connors on YouTube appears to have donated €5, looks like.
Oh, thank you.
And writes, "Hey, Aaron, what things do you think about with animating characters underwater to make sure the motion looks correct?
That's a great question. The biggest thing I think about, obviously, is water is thicker than air, right? You think there's a lot of resistance there, and so you want to work as though your character is working through this. Now, at the same time, with something like a whale is built to fight that resistance, to slip through it. So if you watch the whale, let me stop this. So if you watch the whale animation, the whale slides through the water much more easily than the bear. The bear has to kick. You see him paddling. He's got all the drag of the fur on his body. So I'm thinking about all that kind of stuff. I'm also thinking about this constant movement, this constant kind of drift that has to happen underwater. So these are all things I think about when I'm animating water.
And the orca looks much more fluid.
Yeah, the orca slips through much more fluid, and you can see that the bear he can't catch up to the orca. The orca is in control completely. And so these are things that I think about, and but it's like that with anything. If I could be animating the bear, which I will be, in a windstorm, in a blizzard. You got to think about how is that wind affecting the character and the hair and all that stuff.
Are your courses beginner friendly?
Yes.
Do you have some that say beginner or course 1?
My courses are beginner friendly, but if you think about for animation, I would start with my introduction to animation, the fundamentals, and then I would work up into my acting for animation and those sorts of things.
Just like you would in a college.
Correct.
Is it possible to get a job in animation without a college degree?
I don't have a college degree. A lot of the guys that I worked with never had a college degree, so yes.
You just have to be able to do the work.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the arts, is that really no one cares about a degree. And that's one thing I really want to stress, because I think there's a lot of people out there that think you have to have a degree in order to get a job in some of these art fields. And the bottom line is no, they want to know that you can do the work. And however you learn how to do it, that's how you do it. So anyone telling you have to go to college and spend $51,000 a year doesn't know what they're talking about. And I really take a lot of I take issue with that. I really hate how much college has come to cost, and I'm fighting it. I want to offer people a much cheaper option. Now, granted, mine are videos, and you're not going to have the college experience of working with other people in a classroom and all that, but I'm going to darn well give you the same information, and you're not going to go broke over it. And that's my promise.
Looks like Gloria's on here.
Oh.
TikTok.
Gloria Purnell.
Get off of here! Art by Aaron on YouTube, right? Hey, Aaron, other Aaron here.
Hi, Aaron.
Is Snow Bear going to be a feature-length film or short film?
This is going to be short. I'm doing it all myself. It's going to take about 10 months is what we have scheduled, and I'm in the first month. Well, I'm in the first 5 weeks now. I think this is my 5th week, and it's going to be 10 minutes long. But it's going to be just enough that I think we have a story that resolves itself. But I think there's enough there that we can do little follow-up projects with the same character.
What do you think about the future of 2D or hand-drawn animation?
I don't think it's ever going away. I think, especially with all of those streaming platforms, I think there's a demand for it. I think, every time I do a live stream like this, or I post something on social media, I get hundreds, thousands of people that say they miss hand-drawn so much. And I really think it just comes down to doing it, and putting it out there, and not letting it go away. It's only going to go away if we let it go away.
And there are studios that are still putting out 2D hand-drawn. They do it on a computer. Wolfwalkers, Klaus.
Yeah.
Klaus is completely hand-drawn.
It is, exactly.
It just looks 3D because of the lighting.
Yep.
Did you make the bear animation using pose to pose or straight ahead?
It was both. I did a little bit of pose to pose, and then as far as the paddling and everything, that was all straight ahead. So I did both there.
And how do you build a better portfolio for animation?
Well, it really comes down to what is it that you want to do in animation? Do you want to do be character designer? Do you want to be an animator? Do you want to be an environmental designer? So first of all, decide what it is there that you want to do, and then gear the portfolio towards that. If it's animation you want to do, then you got to get some animated shots in there that have characters interacting. You have a character going through a change of thought, change of emotion. We want people that are hiring want you to show that you can create a character that's living, breathing, thinking, because animation's not the art of moving stuff really cool. It's about bringing things to life. That's what really good character animation is. And so that's what they want to see. They want to see you bringing these characters to life. Anything that's going to show that.
So what's the difference between pose to pose and straight ahead?
Pose to pose is literally, I create a pose and I create another pose and I create drawings that connect them, and I do a whole shot in that way. Straight ahead is I do a drawing and then I do the next drawing, then I do the next drawing and create the animation that way.
Oh, instead of doing your key drawing.
Instead of doing key drawings, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Pose to pose is creating key drawings first and then connecting them with connective drawings. But straight ahead is just literally animating straight ahead.
Do you look up, or have you seen any young, like, YouTube animators? Do you watch any of that stuff, and if so, your thoughts?
Yeah, I do see some stuff. I'm not on it a lot to really have enough opinion. I do miss seeing full character Disney style animation. I don't see that very often anymore. And I'm not sure if it's just because it's becoming kind of a lost thing or what, but that's kind of the inspiration behind wanting to do this in the style that I'm doing it. First of all, it's my kind of mental go-to style when I do my own work, is more realistic type full Disney style animation. And I just want to put it out there to say, hey, it's still, people are still doing this. Me specific, I guess.
Do you have how to draw animal courses as well?
I've got lots of how to draw animal courses on my site. Yes, very much. Actually, that's one of the main things that bits of content that I want to have on my site is how to draw animals, because I don't think there's a lot out there. And this is something that I've been doing for 30 years, 40 years. I mean, really deep and hard. I mean, animals were the first things I started learning how to draw when I was young, but I really got serious about it about 30 years ago. And so I wanted to kind of pass that on. "35 years ago, I guess."
What are some factors in the length it takes to actually create a short?
Well, it's story. Story is the only factor, because that's what it takes to. That's what the images are portraying, right?
I meant like, so if you're making a 10-minute short, how long should it take you? It depends on how many people you've got working on it.
Yeah, it depends on how many people we have working on it. And I think with a crew of 30 people, breaking it up, you could do a 10-minute short in a couple of months. I'm the only one doing this one, so it's going to take us probably close to a year to get everything done.
Okay, so a couple of months with 30-some people, was that just the animation or full production?
No, that's full production.
How do you make your drawings look so believable and realistic and yet still very simple?
Practice. It's lots and lots of practice. I'm trying to boil down, trying to get the essence of, thinking about shape. What are the iconic shapes? I'm thinking about, and keeping those simple as well. Silhouette's a big one, making sure silhouette is clear. If you look at the bear, I've always got him in a silhouette that makes him clear. There's transitionary poses, but when he hits his main poses, it's always a pose that makes him clear. So that's a big one.
So what's your advice for using reference?
Well, depending on what you want to do, I mean, people can take video and trace over it, and that becomes rotoscoping. There's actually an art in that. I don't personally do rotoscoping, But I do take video reference sometimes when especially for something that's mechanically very complex. But I don't trace over it. What I do is I look at it, I study it, I look at the key poses, and I might use those as information, but I'll push those. And then I'll let the kind of my instincts in animation take over. So the reference becomes just that. It's reference for me to put my own, creative stamp on it.
There's been some controversy lately as far as artists using reference. What's the rule for you as far as what kind of reference? Do you take your own, or do you pay for it, get permission?
Yeah, I'm a big believer. I'm a believer in not plagiarizing, obviously, and creating your own reference. I look at other people's work and I get inspired, and sometimes I might do a piece of art that's inspired by somebody. But I'll never copy someone's work. And as far as photographic reference goes, once again, I'm just like anybody else. I've gone on and pulled Google Images for reference on, let's say the reference on let's say the stripes of a tiger. How do they lay down? But I'm never going to sit there and copy the photograph that I pull off of Google. I'm not going to do that to somebody. And I certainly don't like doing. I don't draw other studios' characters either. I don't do that.
To sell. Well, some people will draw like fan art and then sell it.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in that.
And it's someone else's artwork.
Yeah.
What kind of monitor is that?
This is a Wacom Cintiq Pro 32. It's a 32-inch screen, and it's a pen display, so you can draw right on it. And this is the biggest one they make, and if they made a bigger one, I'd have that. The bigger the better, as far as I'm concerned. I love working big.
When are we going to do a request day?
Oh, you know what? Probably when I finish Snow Bear. Because I'm trying to basically take every waking moment that I'm working, and I'm trying to get this done.
I'm going to have to head out, get the kids from school. We're going to go ahead and leave TikTok going for you guys.
But I just won't be able to answer questions.
Yeah, there won't be anybody asking the questions, sorry, but...
Can you do me one favor before you go? Can you grab me a lemon soda water?
Sure.
I am parched.
You want a peach or lemon?
Lemon. I know there's a lemon outside. I hope you guys are having a great week. My intent was to have this done by today, this shot, but I didn't quite make it. But we're getting close.
Almost there.
Losing half a day's worth of work didn't help yesterday.
Oh boy, that was
Here you are, lover.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Thanks for your help.
Actually, are there any of those chocolate chip cookies left?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I'll grab one.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Do you do animation critiques for members of Creature Art Teacher?
No, currently we don't, but we are trying to work out a program where we do. So eventually we will be doing that. But right now we are not. I simply don't have the time to do it right now.
Hold on, everybody. I want everybody to see chocolate chip homemade cookies. Here, Dustin.
Thank you. Toasty.
Lily made.
Why am I fat?
As I'm holding 2 cookies in hand. I don't know why I'm so fat. I got a big bowl.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, maybe I'd lose a little bit of weight if I didn't eat those cookies as much as I do. But they're so good. So now you can see these drawings are really getting tight. This is really tight. This is right before the mother whale swims up and splits them up. So if you're watching on TikTok, unfortunately, I can't see the questions because I'm drawing. So basically, you just gotta.
And I'm currently
Sit
already
watch.
juggling between Facebook and YouTube. If you want to ask any questions, you can come on over to Facebook or YouTube, and I'll do my best to relay as many of the questions as I can.
Yeah, my wife just had to leave, and Vedanta, she had to leave and go pick up the kids from school. So that's going on.
Your wife and Vedanta?
Yes, my wife and Vedanta. We just got married. I'm still, like, it sounds weird saying my wife.
Josiah Shuitt on YouTube says, "Thank you so much. My animation is improving so much because of you. You're the
that's
best."
Great. I love hearing that.
Can you explain what strobing is in animation?
Yes, strobing is when, there's two types of strobing. There's strobing when you need more drawings in between. For instance, when I play this, let me finish this drawing. When I play this back, there is an argument to be made that in a few areas in this animation, it could use more in-betweens so it doesn't strobe, so it smooths out the action. So if I shrink this up and I play this back, especially in the fast areas, you'll see that it gets a little choppy, even though it's all animated on twos. And right back here, boom, right through there, it strobes a little bit, but I think it's stylistically, I'm doing this all throughout, and I think it's okay. And then there's another type of strobing where if I have something on twos animated and I do a camera pans are always done on ones because it does strobe otherwise, especially with lateral movement. And if you have a character that's on twos and you're doing this camera pan on ones, you got to realize that if the character is being held for 2 frames and it's going to move 1 frame, then go back 1, and it's going to do this kind of thing as the camera pan is happening, and that's strobing as well. It kind of creates this kind of ratchety movement. So like I said, there's a couple of different ways or different types of strobing, and that's what that is. But basically, for me, it comes down to having enough drawings in a shot, in a movement, I should say, to make it smooth.
Merdad Rashidi, hopefully I pronounced that right, asked, my friend, please ask my question for Master Aaron. Is it too hard to work in a big studio like Pixar or Disney? I'm going to be an animator in these studios for the next 5 years. I'm a beginner right now.
Well, sure. I mean, Pixar and Disney and a lot of the major studios, they really pick the best of the best. And sure, but I wouldn't say it's hard in the sense that it is hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the hours are long.
It's very challenging.
It's challenging, but it's really enjoyable at the same time. Now, I don't know what the studios are like now. I haven't been at Disney for 12 years. I left Disney 12 years ago, so it's a different studio now. So as far as atmosphere goes, I'm not sure, but when I was there, I loved it.
And I find that working in an environment like that, like not only, like, sure it can be challenging, as in like as you said, the late hours and the high demand and quotas of hitting the marks of animations, but with that, it's a huge learning experience.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember working as a depth artist, and I was learning something new almost every day, if not at least once a week.
Well, I felt
on the
like,
job.
when I did my 6-week internship when I was training as an animator way back in 1988, this is after my second year of college, I felt like I learned more in 6 weeks than I did in 2 years in college.
Every time I went to went into work, I treated it like as I was going back to school again, because I was
Yeah.
always learning something new.
So I'm almost tracing these drawings. They're getting so tight. There's still movement, but the drawings are almost right on top of each other. 'Cause I want the movement to be very subtle, very slow, because I want to build the anticipation of them making contact, and then break that with the parent coming in. So I want there to be this big anticipation. Oh, they're going to touch, and then boom, parent swims in really fast. No, they're not going to touch. And I'm purposely, I'm not doing cleanup drawings on these, although I'm animating very clean. So that I want to keep the line a little bit rough. I want it to feel like it's hand drawn.
I'm just starting animation. How do I get good fast?
That is awesome. That's a very typical question from your generation. Everybody, I'm this is my chance to sound like the old guy.
Here we go.
Yeah, the grumpy old guy. And I've seen it happen over the years. It's in this age of instant information, instant access, instant, getting a hold of each other, information. You've got a question. You don't have to go to the library anymore. You can Google it. Instant stardom, with American Idol and all this kind of stuff. But there's certain things that you just can't get instantly or fast. And one of them is developing the eye and the know-how for certain things that just take years to develop. And that one of them is animation. And I've done so many lectures at schools where I'm talking to 18, 19-year-old students, and they'll go, hey, what's it going to take for me to become a director? And that's a viable question as far as these are the years and things that you have to go through. But the intent behind a lot of them is, I want to be a director right out of college. And in animation, that's just, you can be I've seen lots of live action film directors do stuff out of college, and they grow from that. And I guess you could direct your own film, but it's never going to happen at a big studio, and you just got to kind of work your way into it. But as far as becoming an animator and getting really great at it, it's a lifelong endeavor. I'm still learning. I've been doing it for 35 years, and I'm still learning, how to do stuff with more heart, more honesty. And so it's not going to happen fast, but it will happen less slowly if you really dedicate yourself to it and do do it as often as you can. We learn by doing. You want to be a great Major League Baseball player, then you got to play a lot of baseball. You want to be a great footballer, you got to play a lot of football. If you want to be a great animator, you got to do a lot of animation.
Great animation, and also I think a lot of observation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, be a student of the world, and the environment, everything, the friends.
because if you pay closer attention,
To the world around
first
you.
I'll get into the illustrations and everything, but then start looking into body language movement.
Yeah.
Like the way people walk, the way people talk, the way somebody, even when standing still in one spot, how they lean from one side to another, and you can do this like by just going out to the world. You can do this by watching movies, and even
It's true.
motion capture film is literally people getting their motions captured and put into CG, and so it shows an even clearer form of those kinds of movements of how the heads bob up and down when they walk or run, and there's so many minor details that mocap actually shows a lot more of.
My ears are so hot.
Ears are hot.
Yeah, they're hot.
Hot. But
That's good advice, Dustin. That's true. It's really kind of be a student of the world around you. Be observant, and those are all, those observations fill out your mental library that you'll be able to pull from when it comes time to create animation, believable animation down the road.
And Dylan Connors has donated yet another €5.
Oh, thank you.
And says, "Hey, Aaron, when you were learning to draw out of gesture, form, shape, and anatomy, what took you the longest to learn, and what should you focus on most?"
It's all of the above. So it's not, they all go together. You can do a better form when you understand the anatomy, and when you understand the anatomy, the form gets better. And it's just they're all intertwined. But they'll all develop just by doing. You don't focus on any one thing. You focus on just drawing and drawing well, and all the components come together. When you drive a car, you don't focus on just the steering, right? You got to focus on the gas. You got to be aware of who's behind you. You got to be, all of those add up to driving a car. And it's the same with drawing and animation. It's not just one thing. It's a whole bunch of things that have to come together in order to create a pleasing image.
And I just want to point out a bit of a grammar thing, Dylan.
You okay there, bud?
Yeah, I'm trying to think it through without
Dustin
being.
can't speak.
But the way you used the word "were" is actually "where," in which is more of a location word, like "where are you" or "where is this."
Oh.
The "were" is actually spelled without an H, and that is more the past tense of like "we were here," "we were there," sort of thing. Just so you know that for the future reference.
We're getting the slow in on the whale here pretty quick.
We're getting there.
And then here you can see there's a big jump. See that big jump? That's where the mama comes in. So basically, what I've done is I've gotten all the in-betweens done up to the point where the mama comes in. I want to shrink this up just a touch so that it doesn't, there's a little bit of skipping. So now we've got nice smooth animation with both characters right up to where the parents come in.
Somebody on Facebook wrote, "Growing up, I heard Disney was a terrible company to work for. Unfortunately, I let it discourage me and I didn't follow my dreams. What is your opinion of this rumor?"
Well, the first thing is don't take rumors seriously, because rumors a lot of times have no merit to them. Sure, there's aspects of every job that people don't like. My experience at Disney as an animator, I loved it. I loved working for Disney. The company treated me great. I loved working there. I would do it again. So there you go. That's my opinion. But other people have had bad experiences as well. So for me, I worked hard. I gave them an honest day's work every day, and in return, they paid me well and they treated me well, and I had a great 21 years there. So there we are. There's our characters swimming around. I think this is a good point to maybe sign off. We'll make it a little short today. But once again, go on over to creatureartteacher.com, and I've got My new gesture drawing course is on sale, pre-order. It's only $10, and it's going to be about 8 hours worth of training on gesture drawing, animals, humans, landscape, objects, all kinds of things. Basically teaching you how to find the essence of your subject matter and push and pull and make it more dynamic. That's the goal behind the gesture drawing course. Also, if you become a member over at creatureartteacher.com, one of the added bonuses that we've added is the ability to sit with me twice a week, basically watching over my shoulder and creating this short over the next 10 months. So along with that, you're also going to get over 500 hours of educational content, art and animation training, and all kinds of fun stuff. So that's creatureartteacher.com. Go on over to my website and check it all out over there, and hopefully you'll like it. I really enjoyed talking with you guys today. There were some great questions today, and I really appreciate that. I love it when people engage, so we'll do it some more. For those of you that are members, I'm going to see you guys on Tuesday. We're going to have it all worked out, and then we'll see you again on Thursday. And then as far as everyone else goes, I'll see you next Friday. In the meantime, go out and have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Put your shopping cart away. I haven't said that in a while.
All right.
Think about other people. Think about other people. Make somebody else's life easier and better. And as an artist, go out and put some beauty back into the world. Make people think a little bit differently. So until then, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
Cowboy Bebop. Later.